I was about to say, did the music go off? Like, I was so confused. I can barely hear it. Can you say something so I can see, make sure I can hear you?
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can hear you. All right. Welcome to an emergency episode of Otaku Talk. We just watched Jujutsu Kaisen live together. Um, we have things to say, so here we are. I was like, "Is you not about to make me wait till Sunday to do this? There's no way I'm waiting till Sunday to talk
I'm
about
s-
this."
I'm still a little shook. Like,
Because we was about to roll into it, like literally we were recording the us watching it, whatever, and there was no way I was leaving this studio without saying anything. So I was like, we might as well just go ahead and go live for a second.
okay, so I feel like the only way
Like I'm in
to
trouble.
properly do this justice, and I feel like
Yeah.
with respect, is to take this in at least two parts. Actually
Okay.
discuss the episode and
Mm-hmm.
the ongoings, maybe story and what took place. And
Mm-hmm.
then we can tackle the pressing issue.
Okay. That's fine. So
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Because honestly, though, for me, it was really hard to even follow. Like it wasn't a lot of story unraveling besides that beginning part. They
Mhm.
start the episode talking about, well, you see Megan Lee like summoning this whatever thingy. And you're like, okay,
The eight-handled sword divergent seal of divine general Mahorgada.
okay.
Mahoraga.
My whole
Like
dog.
that's a whole title. Eight-handled sword
They
divergent
didn't say
seal
that
of
in the
divine
show, did
general.
they?
No, but apparently
It
that's
said
its
eight
entire
handed.
title.
Okay. Yeah. So it just started with that, and there's a lot of info there, which is fine. But most of it is just like fighting and Sukuna
Mhm.
kind of like slightly revealing his technique, or we're getting to see it. But
Mhm.
my problem is the pressing issue made that hard for me to really follow.
Which is the animation.
Yeah, and go along with it and really like be like, oh my god, it's unraveling. I see what's happening here. Like I really did not feel that way. And
Mhm.
I thought maybe I was just dropping frames, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really following what's happening.
Yeah. You talking about like within the fight or just in
Yeah,
general?
within the
Within the
fight.
fight?
Like
Gotcha.
the animation made it
Yeah.
so hard for me to be like, this is happening and this is happening. I don't know. It just didn't feel like
It
I
was a
had a hard time.
severe loss of detail,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
in a lot of places where it was just a bunch of squares. And I get it, like slicing buildings in half and chopping them up like checkerboards. But it was like you said, so much of that going on that it was just like, okay, but what's happening? Like, find the people. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it, and on top of that, it's just distracting because you're also thinking about the background, you know, to why this looks this way. I mean, these episodes are apparently coming out hours before airing.
And I didn't know that. So like
Like they
this is
probably
new
finished this yesterday.
and this is like new territory because traditionally we were waiting for a time for these seasons to come out. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time majority of it is done before it even starts. Like, I mean, I'm assuming they're finishing like the last couple episodes. If I heard they were finishing the last one or two, or
Mm-hmm.
even like some of them take a little break before they get to the end, and then it's like a
Right.
little, so them cutting it so close is a new thing. I mean, the work conditions being terrible is not new. I mean, this is an issue
Yeah.
in Japan, I hear, across the board with like overworking.
Mm-hmm.
Why it smell like something burning?
Not
You
Liddy
might want to check
Charles.
on it. Right. Hey, one and wise. So for me, we can talk about what happened, but I find that issue
That is
really
very
for
true.
me made it hard to really be like, okay, so my first pressing question though is like, we've been seeing this new style, like,
I feel like we've been seeing several styles that just have been slick degrading.
That's
But
what I'm saying. I don't
because
think
of
it
like
was
the
a.
action,
Now I'm thinking, is it really a stylistic choice, or is this
right?
degradation that we've been witnessing and not realizing it?
Yeah, because they were still doing very serviceable. I mean, we're excited to see the stuff unfold. We're excited to see these characters come back and really get into the nitty gritty with this action. Like I said, that bathroom scene, that fight between Choso and Itadori is honestly,
That's
I've
what I
watched it so
want to
much at this
see.
point. It's my favorite episode, like as far
That
as
was
fighting,
when we had.
even
That was
with
the
Sukuna
last
and
time
Joe.
we had really clean cut animation. Like I'm thinking about the light and the detail and everything in that
Oh,
fight.
yeah,
So I'm
so
like, is
good.
this the thing where y'all? Why would? That's when in my head I'm like, so why would they use such a amazing style there,
Hmm.
almost cinematic, just to do this like flat paint version later on some of these other fights?
Right.
And now hearing what I'm hearing, I'm like, oh, that wasn't a stylistic choice. That was overworked workers on their last leg, and the best animators quitting at this point.
Oof. Hate to see it.
I'm
Hate to see
so
it because
sad
it
about
showed.
it.
I really wish. That's the thing. It really just showed so evidently. Like I was excited. Like I'm the one that asked to do this with you live, to like watch it with you so I could see your reaction, so I could see you take in not only some of the slick little things being dropped, because I didn't know where this episode was going to end. I really didn't. I knew
Yeah,
the fight
me
started,
either.
and I knew the devastation was due to the ending of this fight. So I was like, okay, let's do this live, because I know they're gonna put their foot in it. We really gonna have these
They really should have
cinematic
put their foot in it.
angles. They really should have. Like, I'm so disappointed. It's to the point where I wish the Choso fight, they would have just
They would have
stopped
just took
there.
a break.
They would have just
Yeah.
stopped there, took a break, made whatever negotiations, strikes, holding their ass accountable, because they need to. Like,
Yeah.
MAPPA, y'all gotta get y'all shit together.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the stories that's
It's
that
like
going
such a
around.
downfall to see it be like peak animation, peak fight,
Yes.
such fluid, like those earlier fights we saw. And then to see, I mean, they kind of had moments in the Jogo fight, but even then I thought, well, it's kind of cool because you got this demonic energy and like how he moves. It's like, it was kind of cool, but it still had its moments of like very good animation, like, that they put their foot in. And then you had these moments of this flatness. But in this fight, I don't know if it was because of the entity being all white, you could really see.
Oh yeah, that didn't help. That did
At
not help.
all. It was something about that. It just really was off-putting. Like I found myself being like, it kind of reminds me of 90s anime, but then like in that sense of like how scratchy it was. Like it felt very rough.
There were frames in this show that I could draw.
Oh.
That I could literally, and no tissue paper on the screen either. Like I could sit here and freehand a lot of what took place on this screen today, which is crazy because I suck at drawing.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
It's different, like going to your point that you was just making. It's so different too, the way you take in what's going on with the animation when you can come up with justifications for it. Like you find reasons to tie it to what's going on. Like, oh, you think it's a stylistic choice, but then when you actually know, it just changes like how you, like, I can't come up with nothing regarding this fight. Like I want to be like, oh yeah, they did the Mob Psycho animation so they could be more free with their imagery. Their imagination.
It's cleaner though, right? It's more fluid and clean.
Oh yeah,
like
can't nobody hate on the Mob Psycho animation. Like that's right. I love Mob Psycho. It's so good.
Their style and then there's just bad.
So controlled though still. You know what I mean?
I'm like, there's stylistic choice and then there's just bad. Like this is just
that's
bad.
What it intention. In the Dagon fight with Toji, in the Sukuna and Gojo fight, whatever his name is, Dagon.
I thought you'd be like Dagon, that damn fight.
Dagon. That's probably what I said in my head. As 100 Watts mentioned, I'm a little, I'm there. But anyway, like I can come up with intention in my head as to why the animation is that way. Oh, they're trying to go for this style to, be able to convey this type of feeling and this type of setting. Like I thought it was a purposeful switch up to pay
in
homage
the
to
Dagon
different
fight.
anime and stuff like that. Yeah, and a couple of them, because it felt
Yeah.
so different than season one. Season
Yeah.
one was so consistent. It stayed so true to what you got used to. And on this one, it's kind of like it started off in the hidden inventory where that was
Yeah.
just beautiful.
But that was in that
and really
style, like that's stylistic. Like what we saw in hidden inventory, as far as like it being more of this like scratchy, like kind of flat in some instances, very boxy. That was clearly stylistic to me.
Yeah,
you could tell.
I agree with that. I'm thinking more so of the later episodes, because I feel like they might have had so much more time during those earlier episodes, and then as things progress and crunch time really started hitting, each episode probably kept coming out closer and closer to airing, and it started to probably really show. And like this was
because
just
like you would have to finish basically one episode a week. I mean, they probably, I'm assuming that they came into the season having finished the Choso fight. And then they probably thought we could finish the rest as the show. Because we got, what episode was that? They probably thought, oh, well, we could just keep drawing and we'll have that head start and we won't get caught up. You
got caught up.
You got caught up.
And at the worst part, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if I got like a little bit into the production of this episode, looking at where we probably were and what we needed to get done, y'all gonna have to do a rerun of another show, baby. Like, put another show in this slot. We need to get it together, because what's taking place from this fight on, I don't need to see in this animation. I'm going to be pissed. You cannot fuck this season up with the developments. With this, I cannot accept.
I couldn't follow
these episodes with this. It's gonna ruin the legacy of this show. And when I tell you, I am so obsessed with JJK right now.
Me too. It's like one of my favorite. Like, it was gonna be up there where it's like you should watch this. And now I'm just kind of like, if they finna do all this or potentially not even finish, because that's like in the air that it might not even finish.
And I'm for it. Not finish a whole, like cut it and never come back, but y'all gotta just stop. I won't be mad. I won't be mad with the conditions they're being held under. The conditions that they are, no redaction. The conditions they're being held under to get this stuff done is absurd. And like y'all they need to strike. They need to do whatever they need to do. Stop it now. Don't put out no more bullshit. Do not ruin this show, please. I am begging you. Y'all have been doing everything right. You can't fuck it up now. Not in the I'll say it, like the peak of what we experienced with JJK is this. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't. It's not. I was trying to pull up this article about what's going on for people who maybe don't know. There's been like this whole thing with MAPPA. Like they've been overworked. People are coming out talking about the work conditions, and they're talking about, look, this is a trigger warning on the article talking about the conditions these people are working under. So this is the episode director who worked on episode 12 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. And this is 17. Was this episode 17? Uploaded artwork of an exhausted looking Emma Yashihira. I don't know. I'm trying to find a picture from holding a rope. Holding a rope around, wow. And they're basically talking about the harsh working conditions of the current animation industry. They have suffered a production schedule failure at the animation studio MAPPA, with no hope of a delay for the mentally and physically drained animators. Wow. That's crazy. So I'm just reading this, but I'm not gonna read it out loud.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read it out loud.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read that out loud. But they exploit young people who want a job, basically, is what it's saying. Wow. So they're all tired and they're just
what
like,
did you say? Can you go back up real quick?
This part?
Yeah, or that part.
Said bad news came in and I'm so done. The most boring ending imaginable. The festival is over. Yes, break up. I'm seriously deflated. I think they're interpreting basically what the tweets or whatever they were saying.
Yeah.
Nothing is fun anymore.
I just saw bad ending ever. I was like, that better not be a threat.
That's what I'm saying.
Not purposely mess this up.
That's what I'm saying. He's saying it's over. So they're just being very ominous and nobody knows.
Ooh, scum.
Now, first of all, as mentioned in the Reddit post, the quality of episode 17 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 will likely not suffer.
Ooh, y'all couldn't be more wrong.
As it features a stacked list of animators, but the production committee behind the Shonen Jump anime denying a delay for the sake of animators' health once again calls into question the core working conditions. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Let me give my own disclaimer. Let me give my own disclaimer right now for anybody come for me in the comments. I have never animated a day in my life. Y'all just heard me say I am shit at drawing, okay? But I know what these eyes like and what feels soothing to it. I'm also not a vocalist, but I know when sound travels through these ears, okay, I can distinguish something from good from bad. And I'm telling you, go back and watch this episode again. How do you need to? You muted.
I'm actually gonna go back and watch it to see if like StreamYard made the quality drop, but you were watching it.
It wasn't. I was watching it. I'm the one that was watching
it. Look, I was
trying
to make an excuse.
But I was watching the fresh. I have beautiful Wi-Fi here. Okay.
I cannot believe what I just saw. Like there were just moments where it was so bad. And I do wonder if I hadn't known this, would I have felt that way? But some part of me feels like I would.
I would have questioned it, at least been like, okay, I probably would have said y'all doing too much with y'all's
with this stylistic choice.
Exactly. I would have been like, let's go back to the basics. Let's go to what worked, because wasn't no complaints. All right. This is, oh my God, this is One Punch Man.
Yeah. Did they change studios?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember who it went to, but first season was love One Punch Man season 1. Season 2 I was so excited for, but it was like apparent the animation was different. And then when you got into the fights of it, it just felt less of a moment each time. Like it was still like One Punch Man got some good fights and they do have spectacles, but not like they didn't have the depth of spectacle like the first season had. It just felt richer. And this is the same thing, except it just happened in a more sneaky way. You know what I mean? Like it was apparent.
And then they're like gaslighting us. I mean, they're literally, so I have art background and like my brother does drawing, animation and stuff. The main thing that was going through my mind when I was watching especially that last segment of the fight.
Yeah, it just got worse as the episode.
It just got worse as the episode. And then it reminded me of like sometimes if you see animation, especially using computers, you will have, like the 3D backgrounds or whatever. And then you'll have kind of like a preliminary rendering or like if it's supposed to be cell shaded, like to look animated, or you are hand drawing the actual characters, you would just have kind of like some very basic flats of these characters. It basically to me looked like the flats. Like it looked like the flats. Like it just looked like, when you put that little one color and then you do a little cell shading. Hey, Haley. It was bad. It looked very, I'm 14, I'm learning to draw and I'm practicing cell shading. And is it good? Yeah, it's good. Yeah. But it's not what we've come to expect from or come to get used to from MAPPA at all. Like,
yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Like, this was not a MAPPA episode of nothing.
No. It's really bad. I'm so sad. I mean, there were some really cool shots. And the thing is, like, I do feel like this kind of scratchy, like old school, like kind of edgier, rough animation could work, especially with Sukuna. Like, whatever was going on with his face, like you said, you kind of hinted at that with the last episode. Whatever was going on with his face and like how it gets dark and all of those things, that's really cool. And I think stylistically, I could see this animation working with that kind of, but it's just, I don't know. It's just not giving.
No, it wasn't.
It's missing all the detail work.
Yeah, it's missing all the flavor. Like, I definitely feel like I would rate this episode I don't think I've ever wanted to give Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't think I've ever wanted to give Jujutsu Kaisen anything under a 7, if that. Have you? Have you ever watched an episode and been like, eh?
Not really. I mean, either it's just like nothing really happened or something like that. But with this being the fight that it was, and us really getting to see Sukuna like kind of show us what he's made of, and like having an opponent that he actually like, oh, I'm gonna pull some stuff out. I'm just like, this should have been the level of like Choso versus Yuji.
Because you couldn't have made that same deal with this motherfucker that you made with Yogo, talking about you if you land one hit. He was touching you. He was touching you.
He was touching them. So it should have been the same level of even like when Gojo fought Toji. Like, we've seen the fights that we're supposed to know that this is like the fight. You know, I wouldn't say every fight is like to the level of Choso versus Yuji. Like, we've seen other ones that aren't. It's like it's whatever. But it's like this should have been one of them for sure.
This really should have. This should have been like, I was waiting to claim this as my favorite fight because I knew they was going to expand on it, which they did. It was the same thing with Megumi versus Toji. Half that fight was from the animators, and this one, like, this fight wasn't this long. This fight wasn't doing all of that, but it was just like, it kind of felt like I was halfway being like, okay, let's cut this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right, not you adding extra and it look bad. So like, we didn't need this. You just made it harder for yourself.
They could have just panel by panel this. Because to be honest, I mean, like this fight more in the manga.
Mm-hmm. I find that the manga does have more of that rough kind of sketchy look to me. When I do see the characters there, I mean, it looks more like the manga. But it's like, I'm gonna need y'all to pick. Like, are you gonna be like the manga, or you gonna be doing what you been doing? Because you been beefing niggas up, you been smoothing stuff out. You can't just go back to this scratchy, stuff later. It was so bad. Like, that whole segment when they was throwing the train or whatever. Throw the whole segment away.
Oh yeah, because that's the first time I noticed. That was the first time I noticed this ain't right. Like, when they had all the trains in the air, no, it was the shot of the crane falling, because it was only the crane moving. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, okay. I didn't.
Just frozen in air, and then the crane is just falling down. I'm just like, what is this?
It was, for me, it was
Bleach.
When Sukuna was like in the train. I think he threw him like,
not new Bleach.
I'm about to say. Right, but when he was like going through the car, I guess it was a train or a bus or whatever, and like Sukuna was like in it, and the background was just like,
yeah, I was like, waiting for the Invincible scene.
What is this? Yeah, I'm like, what is this? Ain't no seats, ain't no rails, like what is he inside of right now? A suitcase?
The idea of a train.
The idea of a train, the rough sketch of a train. That's what he inside, the flat of a train. That's what he's inside, the flats of a train.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I was like,
even like Megumi, that whole summoning scene could have been so epic.
So good.
Y'all could have enhanced that scene
to
the high heavens. I'm talking about rotating camera angles, as it's rotating, zoom in, focus on the hands, like show like y'all did with the
how they did
show his hands spread out and close. Like, I guess the flash of him just showing up behind him in that mummy thing, I guess, but even still, that's just a cut. No.
It wasn't you. It was just like, okay, because when we watched last week and we were just like, okay, who is this gonna be? And they did like, it's kind of like a chalkboard painting, because it's white and it's like they drawn on the chalkboard. Now, when I was looking at it, and
how they've been doing every episode,
right? I'm like, that's cute. I was like, okay, it's like a chalkboard, so it's like more sketchy, like real. The fact that it was like looking like that the whole time, I was like, oh no, this is what it looks like, baby.
Yeah, that's what like. They just changed the colors this time. They just changed the colors. They just turned the main lines to white and said, here you go.
This all we got. People ain't have eyes half of the time. People
have and that pisses me off.
People ain't have kneecaps. People ain't,
and it's not even like a frame. Usually you'll see that in between shots. Like, even nope. I was about to. I cannot ruin now that scene with Levi in season 3 running away from Kenny. There
Oh,
was no wasted frames in that. Oh,
yeah.
you could slow that down.
Peak.
You know, -0.333. You know what I mean? Like, and enjoy that ride. Like when you do those shots where it's just a loose outline with no facial structure, no eyes, no nose, that's in between the animations, baby. That you can't have full seconds of just that.
That's the preliminary drawing. That's what it looks like. When you start a drawing, that's what it looks like. You do a little boxy figure, little thighs, little line, and little pointy feet. I said, y'all really was out here with the sketches. Y'all really animated the sketches. Y'all was playing in our face.
Every frame, I have a better idea in my head. Like, I'm getting angrier and angrier as I sit here and think about what this could have been. And again, I can't say that enough. I'm not blaming the animators.
No,
this is MAPPA. This is the corporate.
I'd be like, y'all gonna, at this point, what would you do? Because I'm like, I'm gonna have to make y'all fire me. Y'all just gonna have to fire me. If y'all ain't gonna let me go, I can't go home. Y'all gonna get these sketches.
And that's the saddest thing to me about all of it. These these are some talented,
right?
These motherfuckers got credentials. They are proud of their work. You can't be in animation for companies like this if you're not living for this medium. And 2, I know they're not happy with this work. So like to put this out and look back on something that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, and that's what I'm saying, it has to end now, because if it continues and this really goes downhill, this will be this will stick with me for a long time. This will be one of them anime that I will never get over the handling of.
I'm trying to find some steals. Like, I was just in here just
no, pick a spot. just slide through the timeline and stop. That should be a game.
It was actually easy to find. Like, come on guys.
I do like, we should at least shout out, like, because that ending shot with Itadori and the black eyes, I love that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some part of me that was like, it's cool because it does remind me of that grittiness of the 90s anime. We talked about that with Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It looked like, remember when David was in the car after everybody got blown up, and he looked like, I was like, you just sitting here looking like that. Martinez, and I do like that, but it's like, y'all, that's not what style this show is, and so you can't just, I can't really just give it a pass and say, well, they're trying to do something more like the 90s. No, you're not.
I fully gave it that last episode.
Yeah, right.
I saw the intention. I saw whatever.
But why would they do it though? Yeah, you'd be like, but why would they do that suddenly after the Choso fight? Why would you suddenly just switch?
Yeah,
there's no reason.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I mean, look at this. I'm just gonna try to
just go back to the summoning. Go back to when Megumi was summoning. Just play that whole scene.
I can't.
That could have been so much
I'm gonna get cut off.
Like, oh, that's right. It was after.
They didn't even get his glasses right. Was this his glasses?
That's.
He looked like,
okay, I have been drinking a little bit. I have been drinking a little bit because I genuinely say, who is that?
Gojo. Like, if Gojo was looking like this all the time,
it wouldn't have been the same. That's a character from Spy Family.
If Gojo was looking like this the whole time, your girl would not be walking around with his keychains and phone cases.
Speaking of, that's the thing. You want to talk about obsession? You know this, but I just recently commissioned this amazing artist. Her name is Kaiju.
Yeah, we gonna have to start
Kaiju Studios _.
We're gonna have to start calling the Instagram artist in.
Hello. And her main page is Kaiju, but she is doing I call it a Antoine X JJK Daddy series.
Oh my god.
And she's like putting me in scenes of Jujutsu Kaisen. And one of my all-time favorite scenes or frames is this right here, baby.
That's the last time they put their foot in something. Nanami.
Can you see it? Oh no.
It's kind of like
these lights off.
Glaring. You're gonna have to put your hand behind it maybe so it'll focus on it instead of your face. It's too bright.
It's too bright.
Yeah.
It's too bright. But anyway, it's the scene of Nanami
being yanked up by
my hoodie instead of my hair. And when I tell you, I cannot wait for this to be finished.
You gonna have to go ahead and send them to MAPPA so they have some footage for episode 18
No.
if they gonna keep going. Like we really gonna have to just.
I've been seeing so many amazing fan animations of this show, of other shows, of live action versions of shows, and it's crazy to me that these people, yeah, they might have small teams or whatever, but they're not studios. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they are putting out flames.
Well, how long does it take them? You know what I'm saying?
It probably takes them a long time, but guess what? I will wait.
And that's why I was like, how dare they put these animators on these crunch times? They put these timelines are not realistic for what you're asking for. Look at this picture. Like, this is the shot for me where I was like, y'all really just came, y'all playing in my face right now. When you go in Photoshop and color a picture, right? You draw line art. This is the flag. This is the flag. You just have the line art and you pick a color, the base color for the skin, the base color for the color, and you take the little marquee tool and you fill it in. This is y'all really playing in my face right now.
Fill tool.
Y'all really playing in my face.
That bucket with the paint leaking out. This what they dragged over that and clicked and called.
Give me my Jujutsu Kaisen coloring book right now. Cause this y'all playing in my face.
You really could just blow up the previews and that would be a coloring book right there.
I'm saying, like, unless they be like, we finna release the Jujutsu Kaisen official coloring book. I don't know what y'all got going on.
Yeah,
like, what is this?
You better Olivia Pope the situation. That's how you get out to the public and announce that. Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't that girl this episode. Like, that was good. This whole lead up, it wasn't until I'm telling you that damn crane.
It was when the building started getting put in. Y'all might have should have just had them fight in the sky. Y'all might have should have just pulled a Dragon Ball Z. Y'all should have pulled a Dragon Ball Z in its field with rocks. Y'all might have needed to.
They should have did. I can't remember what anime did that. I mean, a lot of anime probably did this, but they should have. Right. Sukuna should have drew a box in the ground and just slugged it out.
His domain expansion should have just been black everywhere. That's your domain expansion. Just nothing. Just nothingness. That's what his domain expansion should have been. Y'all might have needed to tweak that. Y'all wouldn't have had to draw nothing. I don't know what the shadow realm.
Please go back to that summon and just freeze it on the shot of the wolves and the frogs, him in the middle and the thing behind him.
I'm trying to find it because it keeps he was like thinking about it. Gojo was telling him this one.
This is it. This, like when I say use y'all's imagination, how would you do this different? Leave it in the comments below.
I mean, they didn't even get around to putting the shadows on Megami. Look, you got this ultra 3D background and it's flat. You ain't even get around to putting his shadows
and remember,
on.
We was talking about that in one episode a while ago of Otaku Talk, and I was like, one thing I can't stand in anime, and I've always hated this. This has always been a pet peeve of mine, is when you got an elaborate watercolor ass painting in the background, and maybe it's even like a destruction from a fight, but I can tell which brick is gonna move because that one brick is the flat outline with I hate that. I hate it so much. I
think that was in our 90s episode. We was talking about that when we talked about the 90s aesthetic. This is giving. Oh my god, look at this. It's so bad. Like going back and actually looking at it, like catching the frames, I see why as I was experiencing it, I was very like, ooh, I don't know how I feel
this is it. This is it right here. I'm just like, this ain't serving.
Girl, what is this? Y'all even
is he doing what is it? He's doing.
Girl, y'all done deleted the background. Like y'all just deleted the background and then didn't even do nothing with the free room. Hey, Yellow, to the free room that you didn't have to put a background on there in Canva. I mean, because that was a whole picture. Y'all deleted the background to do nothing.
My imagination while reading these panels was way more. I was so emotional. Yeah. Not so emotional. When it came to the devastation part, like I was like sitting here like this reading. I was like, oh my God, he really took all these niggas out. He really chopped up that whole fucking what it was 140 meters. Like
not Sukuna power is Gordon Ramsay. He's the chop. He ate chop fruit in One Piece.
I can't remember the
Top.
titles they gave it in this, but his abilities were named Cleave and Dismantle. They called it
Oh, they
something
called it
else.
fillet and
Fillet. They did call it
that
fillet.
Suka that was in the kitchen with you at Bones, bitch.
Thank God he wasn't. I don't need
That
them
Suka
troubles.
is the line chef at the restaurant. Powers. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, but when you like, it does sound really simple though. Like the two abilities, like I think it's what was it? Cleave. Okay, so dismantle is like a attack that's specific to inanimate objects. Like
right.
it dices them shits up, no problem. And
Because he was
cleave is an
saying,
ability, huh?
yeah, because in this they said it's like one binds to cursed users and one to not cursed. Yep.
Well, yeah, the other one it adjusts itself based on the abilities or the power, the heightenedness of the person's cursed ability. So it's always gonna cut that shit up in one fell swoop, apparently. But the way he used it in his domain, I thought was dope too, because it doesn't keep you in a space. Like it puts you in, you know how they say if you tell your ability, it makes it stronger.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing goes with like giving them the ability. He makes a pact essentially immediately because he gives you a way to leave the domain. So it's really just a area of effect that you can get out of if you fast enough, I guess. But because of that pact, it heightens it to like 200 times. Like it can reach up to 200 meters or whatever. And it just like continuously is happening.
And I was supposed to get all of this in this choppy ass animation.
I mean, that's the reason why everything was so choppy, because he was slicing and dicing, but it still.
I mean, it's like the frames was choppy, Sukuna was chopping, everything was chopped. Chopping block, chop this shit. Cut it off, cut it out, pause, stop. We need like just pause here. Please, like get them people a break. Also for them, like, look at this, like this is not what I've come
not my
to.
Megumi. Not my Gumi. Not my
Gumi.
Gumi.
First of all, if y'all, and that's how I knew they was out of energy. I knew we was down bad because everybody's tongue been hanging out. We done had tongue wagging. Told you was eating fish. Gojo was and this is what we get. This is where we are on episode 7.
Yeah, and I just realized too, Megumi is like probably one of the only Jujutsu Kaisen dudes that ain't really getting the lush shine like everybody else. He ain't really had his moment yet.
This should have been like a moment where he looked crazed. I mean, he ain't even got no tongue.
Oh, like him in season 1 when he and that's the thing too.
We've seen
like 6 moments where he was about to. I feel like at this point he was about to summon Magora or whatever, Mahabora or whatever.
Yeah,
he was about to do it, and in all of those scenes, especially that one where he was fighting that special grade, like his face, the way he was bleeding, and the way his face just was destroyed. It was so good.
Yeah, and then we get this is what we get.
It was so bad.
Look at this.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
What is this? He ain't got no tongue.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Get them people a break.
Let
them people go home.
Cut it off.
I love Jujutsu Kaisen, but we'll talk about something else. I mean,
we done shit on the animation enough. Let's actually talk about some of the developments in the show. So we ain't even talk about this fight. We done ended up on this fight against this Sukuna and the thing. We did get the little drop from Gojo. He talked about a big battle that happened a long time ago in one of them eras, where there was a battle between the heads of the Gojo family. It was whoever was the holder of the 6th eye at that time, and the head of, I think it was it the Zenin?
I think it's Zenin. Yeah,
who was it? Is the Zenin?
He said Zenin. Yeah,
and that was the holder of Megumi's technique. So that means that Megumi has the ability to be toe-to-toe with Gojo if he harnesses his skill, trains, or whatever, which is crazy to me, because is it just what he is able to summon? Like, I think it's just because of what he can tap into.
Yeah, I think it's probably because of what he could tap into. But then is that why Gojo sought him out?
I mean, definitely. I mean, because he was definitely aware of his ability and what he, I mean, I don't know if he was aware of his ability, but Toji, yeah, he was like, when his ability comes in, like he's gonna be,
Yeah,
so they must
yeah.
have had some kind of inclination, like this must
Feeling
be
that it was
carried
gonna be
through.
him, or it was
Yeah,
time.
this must be like the six eyes, that it just keeps getting passed down to like maybe one, I don't know how many people, if it's as exclusive as a six eye, but it definitely sounds like it'll pack a punch. But apparently it's something that Sukuna wants. Sukuna is treating Megumi like his firstborn child.
I was like, boy,
Sukuna,
Sukuna is more like a daddy to him than Toji. Just what I was like, oh, not
hello, the
daddy.
way he
Come to
just,
daddy, Sukuna.
we didn't see him place Megumi down when he dropped him
Mm-hmm.
off to the principal and old chick, but I tell you, I feel like he laid him down like a feather pillow.
He was like, my son,
When he said, "Don't die on me,"
yeah,
I got stuff for you to do. It like it wasn't even menacing. You know,
it
like
wasn't.
it sound, even though obviously there's a plan, that only serves
Probably
Sukuna,
not wholesome.
but still, it's the delivery though.
And he even changed his technique to 140 instead of like 200. I think it was 200.
Well, yeah, he couldn't dice him up. He obviously needs him for something, but I don't know.
I
It's
was like,
just like
oh, look at
he could be
Daddy
treating him like
Sukuna.
crap. He's over here relishing in Yuji's anguish when he was tripping out over homeboy getting idol transfer, or whatever called transfiguration by Mahito. Like he was like, I'm not helping you. This shit is funny to me. Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Right.
I'm gonna laugh on the side of your cheek while you are screaming in pain. And in this, like he don't be giving Megumi that saying, he be encouraging him. Like he be like, why did you run? You so strong. Why you run from that special grade? You could have handled that.
Sukuna his real daddy.
right.
Sukuna is his real daddy. But it is called, the technique is the 10 shadows or something like that. 10 shadows.
Yeah, 10 shadows technique. Yeah.
So I wonder what Sukuna wants with it. I do want to know, like, kind of what he wants with it. He obviously wants. Yeah. I mean, but you could see that Shikigami that he summoned was able to hold his own against Sukuna. So of course, Sukuna would probably want that. You know, it seems very powerful in that way. And the fact that it doesn't need, like, I think it's different than like Gojo is the holder of the technique, the six eyes. Like if you can't control Gojo, you can't really do anything with his technique. Like he has to be the user of it. But I think with Megumi's, it's like, well, I can summon these things and they can fight for me. You know what I mean? So it's in that way, I can see how a third party could come in and maybe try to utilize that more. Because with Gojo's technique, you would just have to be Gojo.
You think? So he said you have. There's still something left for you to do. What do you think he is like? Do you think he's gonna like convince Megumi to do this or whatever it is?
I have no idea. Because this is the first time I'm kind of like, I mean, I we haven't seen a lot of the full extent of what Megumi's abilities could even do. Mm-hmm. But knowing that it's like connected to these beings that you could subjugate, I would assume the subjugation is important, and maybe Sukuna could have some part in that to some degree.
Because you got to think this is actually very similar to not literally, but this is very similar to Geto's ability, how he can suck up any spirit and like control them. I don't know how many Shikigami there is. I mean, it's called the 10 shadows, so I don't know if only one person can tame 10 at a time or something like that. Meanwhile, Geto can. What did he do? He did an attack that sucked up like 4,000.
Yeah, he tried like all 4,000 at once at them kids.
Yeah, so he is, and then right, and Yuta handled like a champ. But you got to think there's like special grades and there's all type of like levels. And I'm pretty sure there's like a bunch of, first grades, like a shit ton versus however many Shikigami there is. I'm just imagining.
But that's what I'm saying. The Shikigami seem to utilize, they do use curse energy, but they seem to be like the opposite.
Yeah, I want to research that actually. Yeah,
because it was like something about when
I'm reading
it was
the manga,
something about when Sukuna was talking about it. It was like he kind of did like equal but opposite. That's how my brain understood what he said.
Well,
it was like he used the equal, like almost the same, reverse something. He was like it's the same amount but reverse curse. He said something.
Oh no, he was talking about that sword. The sword.
That was
I think that's specific to that Shikigami though.
Yeah,
But he was
that
describing the
particular one.
ability of it. Yeah.
Right, but I understood it as like he fought back with kind of equal. That move was a counter almost like, but the way it just
Two
felt
curse
like,
spirits.
yeah, but it kind of felt like when we were kind of having that conversation about heaven and hell, like is there a heaven? That's what I was thinking. Like this will bring maybe those Shikigami bring into play that equal but opposite of curse energy. That's the only thing I could think.
Yeah.
Equal but opposite of curse
I'm
energy. Like
completely
they obviously
dumbfounded.
they can manipulate curse energy, obviously, or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think maybe they are some sort of
I think.
opposition to whatever. I think because he was
Yeah,
saying
I
something
think.
about once again, I'm gonna have to watch it again because the fight was so hard for me to follow. Even when Supina was like, "Oh, you're doing this, you're doing it," I'm like, "He doing what? I can't see nothing."
The wheel on his back, essentially, it like as it rotates, as he's experiencing new things in battle, that wheel spins to adjust to it. You know what I mean? So he will constantly have an answer to what you're doing, regardless of the situation. He's always going to have a counter. Once he experiences it, he's going to be able to come back with something. You're not going to be able to get him with the same shit twice. And I think the reason Sukuna's domain worked is because you just could not stop the onslaught of disintegration when it came to how he was slicing and dicing his ass up. You know what I mean? So I think that maybe that played into the weapon. Even maybe that was created to counteract, cursed beings being affected by cursed energy.
Right.
But
I mean, it seemed like they would have beef as well. Like it, whoever or whatever these Shikigami are, whatever realm they exist in, when they not being
have beef with cursed spirits.
Yeah, like they seem like they beef. Like I could just see it being like this whole other hierarchy.
That could be a plot point. Maybe he's like,
yeah,
maybe gonna unleash whatever, like wherever realm these Shikigami are held in. Maybe he'll like find a way to release them all at once. I don't know.
I hope it don't end up being like. I hope it don't end up being like what it feels like to some degree, loosely speaking. Not at all, because I have no idea what's gonna happen. But kind of like I'm thinking about like in the Bleach, like 1,000 Year War. It's like you got these people, like how we always thought of Shinigami. Like we was chilling with them, we was hanging out with them. But there's also these other people over here, the Quincy's, like. And then there's the real world where no one experiences really either one of them. So I'm kind of
thinking Himeko Mundo with all the
right.
Hollow.
So I'm kind of thinking along that line. Like we see curse energy, we see this, and we've seen the curse energy, but we haven't seen basically
like
the
this could only be like one half of the world building, and we still got
like we haven't seen the Quincy's of Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what I'm thinking.
People that harness another way of fighting outside of curse energy,
right? And that's what I think the Shikigami might be. Okay. That's what I'm thinking the Shikigami are.
Okay, that's somewhere to go with. But I was just thinking myself,
Shinigami, like Shinigami is god of death. So Gami, I mean, there's Shikigami. I don't know what Shiki mean.
I was about to say, is you gonna break it down for us?
I don't know what Shiki mean, but I know Gami on the end. Let me look up what Shikigami. I'm scared, but I'm gonna look up. I'm just gonna put in Google Translate. I'm just gonna put in Google Translate.
Because as I've been reading, I'm getting some bomb drops now, and I'm obviously not going to spoil it, but I'm getting some bomb drops that are still within other spoilers that I've been given. So I'm like, okay, I am actively saving myself from more spoilers. And I'm actually very happy that I'm reading now, especially because I kind of hope that Jujutsu Kaisen is done here.
I'm about to say, now like I'm about to read.
And not done here as if the show is absolutely ruined, but they need to stop production. They need to scrap whatever they have done at this moment, which, I mean, they probably just finished this episode, so probably nothing. So let's go ahead and just stop here and let's do whatever we got to do. Let these people get some rest, get them some better deals, do a schedule or something, but let them people get some rest. Stop it here. But I was going to say...
You want me to read what a Shikigami is?
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, do that.
It is it's basically a ghost. So a Shikigami means to call a god, a demon, a yokai, or a ghost. And in Japanese folk, that's one. That is what it said, but I don't know what it's like. But in Japanese folklore, I just looked up that, so I wouldn't get any spoilers. It is a being from Japanese folklore, according to this person, I'm not gonna read that long name, is thought to be some sort of kami represented by a small ghost. So ghost, basically.
Which kind of feels like what cursed spirits are supposed to be.
I don't think cursed spirits are ghosts though. They're not
They
ghosts.
feel like it. You can't see them as humans.
And yeah, but it's like also curses. It's associated with curses.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
They're conjured beings made alive through conjuring ceremonies. See, so they're different in a way.
Oh, and that fits right into what the ability is.
They're different. Yeah, and they're different in the sense of like you have to have a sorcerer, like you have to have somebody to conjure them. And they need that like medium basically to even be able to be conjured. Versus a cursed spirit doesn't seem to have besides like you said, Gato was probably like the closest thing we've seen to kind of like using cursed spirits like a Shikigami would use, like Megumi. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, damn, Gato.
I don't know what they would do with that though. I like that. I have no idea though what his plan is. I like that I can't even begin to put it together.
Is he working with Kenjaku? But they wanted, but
their goal has been to try to convince him to work with them. So I don't think they're working.
But I don't even think Kenjaku knew about Megumi. He didn't even. That's Sukuna's only one who kind of had that.
Yeah, Sukuna's the only one that's really interested in Megumi. That Ghetto Kenjaku ain't even looking at him twice. So they do have Urame, whatever her name is, in common. She was with them at the beach in season 1 when they were planning. She's been following them and helping them with the mission. She was the one ordering old buddy with the hand sword to kill the rest of the people. And then we saw that she has this connection that, I mean, if Sukuna knows her and like was chummy and buddy with her, like she has to be at least 1,000 years old.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like she got to be old as hell. Like she has to be.
Now see,
I'm
scared. I'm sure I'm probably just gonna read at this point. Considering everything that's going on, and we don't know if we're gonna get good quality again, or if they should just take a break after this, honestly. And then it kind of makes me even feel like, do I even want to watch it? Like, do I want to watch it if I know
I'm gonna watch it? If it come out, I'm gonna watch it.
If it comes out, but it's like if the quality is suffering so bad and the people are actually suffering too, it's like everybody just suffering.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah,
I'm like,
that is very true. Do I even want it? But I hate even saying it out loud. I never thought I would say that this soon, this abruptly. Do I want to support this show?
Yeah. I mean, it's possible they could find their footing again with that big fight, that big part being out of the way. Like they could. I can imagine that this is a hard episode in anime. Was this the Shibuya incident?
There's still more to. I mean, I feel like if you want to say like a spectacle of an incident, yes, but bitch, we still got more to go. So
that's what makes me scared that they ain't gonna be able to catch up at this point. Like if you behind at this point, yeah, you not catching.
Because if y'all mess up the episode, manga readers, I'm gonna be mad. Because when things happen, you cannot give this scenario, this event, you got to give it justice, at least for the characters involved. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see, but I'm more than likely going to go ahead and read. I feel like I know what's going to happen. Judging by how Nanami was over here looking like the colossal titan on one side, honey. Okay, he looking like
yes. Oh, I forgot they showed that Nanami walking at the end.
I'm like, he over here looking like an Attack on Titan extra on one side.
He look like Two-Face.
He look like
Batman.
Like Harvey Dent right now.
That lip.
Two-Face is giving.
Oh my God! What did
Attack on Titan? Armor Titan. So I mean, seeing that he's still walking in that state, and he's clearly walking towards something
to protect.
Right.
My nigga.
Who we protecting?
Anybody. You know he thought of himself as the wall. He's like, my job is not done yet. I sort of protect these kids, and they are not around me right now, so I got to make my way to them.
But seeing is that, I mean, I already had picked him as my top person to die in this arc. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. See, I was on Overwatch earlier. We ain't gonna talk about it. But he was already my pick to not make it out of this arc. So I definitely feel like this coming. And he about to be fighting Mahito. It's finna be over. It's over. Mahito done fought him already. Mahito kind of reminds me also of that Shikigami in that way, if he like learns really fast on the fly. Like he adjusts in the battle, he learns. And he already fought Nanami once. Twice actually. And so I feel like this time he like, you ain't finna catch me sleeping. Like, so I just feel like it's just not gonna end well for him. So that wouldn't really shock me. So you know.
So, and the last thing, I guess, we finally got the scene that we've been like, and that's the thing, like you would have that scene in this episode, the crying.
I hate to be such a negative Nancy about this episode, but I just hate that they played the special one right there. They should have just played the outro.
Oh yeah, why did you play special there? That when I tell you that was the most jarring transition into a song. I was so ready that wasn't even the ending song.
I really was so ready to like, because we had seen the clip of the voice actor putting his whole soul into that cry. Now they might run it back on the next episode and then we just get it quietly without the music. But it kind of felt like when we watched Heavenly Delusion and they played, you know, after the whole thing with Robin and they reunited and they played that music. It was like, is this really the music we want to go out on after she just got
back to the drawing board on that one?
Assaulted. It felt the same with this though. It was like, y'all should have just pulled a Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is so good at that. Like y'all should have just either let the music play or just let the episode go off with us hearing you just crying.
Yeah.
Pull Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because they definitely was going there with because I didn't, maybe it happened in the manga and because I didn't see the colors of the ground, I didn't process, but with that first time when he drug his fingers across the cement, that you saw my reaction. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that was honestly the best part of the episode because it got that emotion out of me, or it got that.
It was impactful. It made me think of when Nami wanted to like cut, she was like trying to cut her tattoo off. And like how they did it, and she was just crying, you know. And I'm just like, why y'all play that music? You could just play the outro and just let it ride to the end.
Yeah, made the actual ending song what bled into, because that it would have flowed so well. But it was like, you are my special, and I'm normally when that come on, I'm normally like this.
I was like, no. That's what you was like. Well, maybe it was irony. I'm like.
No, but that, like I was like it felt just ironic, but like not clever, not
clever. And I also feel like the special one is after seeing this episode, I'm like, that song is dedicated to Megumi, if anybody, not Itadori.
Yeah, you are my special, right?
That is not dedicated.
That is a love song.
That is a love song for Megumi. Right. I don't feel. I was just like, I mean, maybe it was supposed to be cheeky, and they're like, "This is why we picked this song." Haha, get it? He's special. It's like,
it felt like sabotage. It was like we already gave you this episode. Let's just go ahead and let's like ruin the one emotional part of the show. Let's go ahead and just shit on that because
cry off.
I understand why Yuji was crying though. Like he goes, oh okay, I was about to say, because he goes out of his way. His last dying words, right? Oh, cut it off. Like I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
But it I don't know. It as a whole, I'll take my rating down. I give it a 4 now. As I'm talking about it more, like I'm just disappointed in what we got versus what it could be. That's the biggest thing. That's the basis of my criteria. What we got versus what we could have gotten based on what we have gotten.
Yeah,
this ain't no make-believe imagination. I'm just coming up here giving baseless accusations. Like, no, the evidence, just go back and watch these last 50 whatever episodes.
Right. Y'all know how to direct the episode. Y'all know how to do it. But you know what? It's just like them Disney animators drawing dicks in the back. You know, I think part of it is like, we're tired. Y'all ain't listening to us, so y'all gonna get what y'all get. And I'm completely, even though I'm like, this was like, I'm completely like, do whatever y'all got to do. Like, if they ain't listening to y'all, if they ain't letting y'all go, then bitch, we on the same.
And you know what's crazy? This coming right on the heels and the transition of the actor strike lifting. It's like we get out of that just to fall into this.
Yeah. But I mean, Mappa knows how to, they know how to overwork their people. But it's like, just y'all the way y'all drug us along with Attack on Titan. Y'all know how to drag some stuff out so y'all can finish the animation. Y'all know how to do that, because Attack on Titan had the finale of the finale of the finale.
Say it again. Make it clear for the people in the nosebleeds, for the people that couldn't get in, for the people across the street just trying to hear the vocals. Say it again. Y'all know how to do it.
I was like, bitch, this ain't it. Okay, so this is the final season, part 2, but then it's a 3-part final finale.
And that's one thing I can say. Ain't no dip in the animation. I mean, now there were some changes. There was maybe a lot of more CGI incorporation and all that stuff.
But that wasn't even Mappa.
That did One Piece.
I think Mappa had it at first, and then they gave it to, what's the name of that studio? I feel like it's somebody else who got it, or it was the other way around. Season 1 and 2 was one studio, and then the last parts was another studio. They changed studios in the middle of it. I feel like Mappa was on the front end.
So Wit Studios did the first 3 seasons.
So Wix was first, and then Mappa was last. Okay.
And Mappa did the 4th and its various subdivisions.
It's various finales. Okay, so it was Wix at first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you like it? On a side note, did you like Attack on Titan better when Wix did it or when Mappa did it?
Let me think about that. You know what? That's hard for me because the CGI and stuff wasn't as jarring for me, I felt like, as it felt to some of the fan base. I didn't have as much as problematic when we shifted into more of like when Mappa took over. Okay. And we got like stuff like the Warhammer Titan fight. And there were just other scenes with Titans where it was clearly CGI versus, hand drawn and all that stuff, or
I always feel like Studio Weeks was way more like clearly CGI,
and that's what I was gonna say. Well, clearly CGI in the beginning.
I mean, just like how the Titans look. I mean, it was drawn, but they had that strange yellow glow to everything. I just kind of remember like the color tinting that they used was like this golden color.
I think that the and it's it probably isn't. I don't know how many people would agree with that, but I just really like the idea of like while they were younger and everything, the way they used like the thicker, bolder lines.
Yeah, they did
on the outlines of the characters.
It was just much more sunny.
Aged. Yeah, and as they aged up, they got thinner, and it got
we be
more.
Coming up with all kind of shit for animation in our head as viewers. We just be like, yeah, it was they did it on purpose.
But if it makes sense to me, I'm gonna run with it. Because that's what it was like when they were younger and kids, and as they was growing up in the Scout Regiment and stuff, the lines were a lot thicker and like I don't know, it just felt
their eyes were brighter,
childlike. Yeah. And as it got more depressing and more darker,
the finale, Aaron eyes, that baby was tired.
With that 40-inch bust down.
With that 40-inch bust, I keep seeing it. I know it's just like before we wrap up because it is a Thursday, but before we wrap up, 2 things. People talking about Aaron's hair was so laid because of the steam from the Titans. It's just like my favorite random lore that people have decided his hair is like
that. I mean, and physically sound.
Right. I was like, now my hair would be a big puffy mess, but okay. I mean, he
is a different
he's white.
He ain't got the melanin.
He
ain't got 4C hair.
Right, he got 4C hair. So I guess. And then also speaking of theories, before we wrap up, I did enjoy that video you sent about Dagon being the Star Vessel girl as a cursed spirit.
That shook me.
I don't think it's true. Like, there's some issues with that for me.
Like, my first issue was like, oh, but he's old as hell. Like, no, he was the newest of them. No, he's new. Was? Remember, that's why he's like in that. He was a cursed womb, and then he evolved when Hanami died. So he fits within that time frame.
Didn't see him nowhere.
Like and 11 years ago, I feel like it's when he probably came in.
Too, which they didn't even mention. When he first showed up, he had a schoolgirl outfit on.
Oh, did he?
I feel like he had like a little schoolgirl outfit on. Because I was like,
I
what the
wouldn't put
fuck
it
is going on
past
here?
because there was a
Like,
lot of random like coincidences between images and scenes with her, and I think she like loved the beach. Like she had that scene where she was
yeah,
at the beach, and then that
that's what I
is his
thought.
domain expansion.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is this the beach that they be hanging out in? And also, it looks like the same beach she was at with them.
Like it was definitely. I feel like I feel like Mahito, Geto, Jogo, and Hanami. I feel like they were all chilling in that Dagon's.
Oh, and she would be like like, I could see her being with Kenjaku because she remembers Geto too. Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up the picture. Oh, that's such a good theory because okay, so that was my main issue with it. But now that you're saying that's not the case, I'm like, oh wait, so it still might be sound. Look at this. Look at this. This is where I was like, oh my god, it's true.
Oh my god, no. It's true. Until y'all give me hard evidence, she is not that cursed spirit reborn. And that's like, the thing. He broke into what could potentially be part of Jujutsu Kaisen lore. Like I haven't finished the manga, so I don't know if this is substantiated at all. But he was saying that like if a cursed user, if a Jujutsu sorcerer dies from more conventional means like a gun, get hit by a car, like Rita did, they get transformed, or their cursed energy or whatever gets transformed into an actual cursed spirit. And even though we do have,
but she was a curse. If he was a cursed womb, though, that means that would have existed right before.
What did?
If Dagon was one of the cursed wombs, weren't they created before?
No, those are the death paintings.
Oh, the death paintings. Okay.
Yeah, cursed wombs are kind of like the first stage. Like we saw a cursed womb in like the first 3-4 episodes. That was above the prison.
Right.
That was a cursed womb that evolved into that special grade that they fought.
Where they come from?
I think it's just a collection of cursed energy or whatever that forms this cursed womb, and then that turns into a special grade.
So they think it's her because he's very young, and she might have died with like a year before this. It was 11 years.
It was 11 years ago. The hidden inventory was 11 years before the current thing.
Oh wow! Because we were talking about it, and I was like, "How long has it been?"
Yeah, I didn't know that when we talked about it, but that was stated.
And how did they say how old Dagon was? They just say he was
yeah, I don't think they gave what he is, but that's what makes it make sense is because like I wouldn't imagine you have a cursed womb over 100 years old. You know what I mean? Like it would have evolved.
Right. Wow, like look at that. When I saw the schoolgirl outfit, I was like, oh my god, it might. Well, they all had it on, but I think in the train station I could have sworn.
I was about to say that they can all have it on, but the Easter egg was that he specifically had it on, or they.
That was crazy, but it made sense to me. Like when I saw it, because they did make this whole. I remember when we were watching the episode, they took a whole little second to show her at this aquarium, looking at the fish, and they was like really pushing this like the aquarium, the sea thing with her, and I'm just like, what is up with that? Yeah. So that makes it even worse that Toji came in there. I mean, and then at the same time, it would make sense to me why Toji pulled up to beat her ass.
Oh my god, Toji killed her twice.
That's what I'm saying, but it just would make sense why Toji was like, oh, my friend Bestie, hey Bestie. Like the way Toji just made a point to come into the domain, like, and beat her ass again. I was like, well, okay.
All the breadcrumbs, they'll lead you to salvation.
Okay, I'm gonna go read. The manga.
You gotta go read. So, yeah, I'm about to pick it back up.
I'm about to go read it. So
I cannot wait because I obviously I'm not gonna say who, and you're not gonna guess it, but somebody is quickly becoming the most loved character to me, and I cannot wait till you get there.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read it. So I'm at this point, it's great, but I'm gonna go ahead and read it because I don't know what's going to happen with it. And if I decide not to watch it to support the staff that's like being abused and stuff, I don't want to have a break in content. So I'm just going to start reading it. I'm going to let y'all know now. So
full solidarity with the animators. Do what y'all got to do. I'm behind y'all at all points. If we don't get no other MAPPA animation, I'm fine.
And I feel like it's something else we were supposed to be talking about, but we'll see what we talk about on Sunday.
I mean, we could probably talk about Blue Eye Samurai and Pluto.
And we were supposed to start that friend. I can't friend.
Oh yeah, don't get me to
Fearing.
I already disrespect the Japanese culture enough by reacting
Right.
how I
I think
did
that's
to
German.
Naruto.
I'm like, that sounds German. Okay. So yeah, we'll be back on Sunday, probably definitely talking about Blue Eye Samurai. But if there's anything else to talk about, it'll be one of those two. Pluto.
Have you finished it?
Have I finished Pluto?
Blue Eye Samurai.
Oh yeah.
I haven't. I gotta finish it.
Oh yeah, go ahead and finish that because woo. Okay, I can't wait to talk about it. Go ahead and finish that up, and I will be watching Suzume, which is a movie made by Your Name is finally on Crunchyroll. I've been waiting forever. That trailer be popping off on my channel, so now I can finally give a reaction to it. So I'm gonna watch that.
What and also did you what is it before we go? What's the isn't another Studio Ghibli movie coming?
Yes, it's coming to movie theaters. So I'm like
movie theaters. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go get that. It's coming.
Let me know. I want to go.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go see that too. But I don't know if that's out yet, but I'll check it. But yeah, we're gonna go to bed because it's a weeknight, but we had to come talk about this now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all on Sunday for Otaku Talk at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Bye.